Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. At an apartment on Bill Bradford Road, Silver Springs Special Crimes Unit arrested Traylon Lynn Clayton, age 25, of Silver Springs, on warrants for delivery of marijuana more than a quarter of an ounce but less than 5 pounds, and for manufactured delivery of a controlled substance, penalty group 2, or 2A, less than 1 gram. Both are state jail felonies. The arrest was the result of an investigation into Clayton's possession and sales of marijuana and Adderall. During the investigation, the Special Crimes Unit obtained 2 delivery warrants. During the arrest, Special Crimes Unit and Silver Springs Police Department officers also served a failure to appear warrant and charged him with a misdemeanor possession charge when marijuana was found on his possession. As the October 9th Hopkins Raines Retired School Personnel Candidate Forum focused on public education approaches, Texas State Senator District 2 incumbent Republican Bob Hall has announced that he or a representative of his campaign will be present. The event features candidates for Lieutenant Governor, Texas District 2 State Senator, and Texas District 2 Representative. A Meet the Candidates begins at 5:30, and candidates will speak in turn beginning at 6 p.m. at the Silver Springs City Hall Council Room. Again, the date, October 9th. Each candidate will be given 10 minutes to present their views regarding public education. Order of speakers will be State Representative, State Senate, and the Lieutenant Governor. Following the candidate's presentation, a question and answer session will be conducted. All Democratic candidates have responded that they will be present. The only Republican now who has not responded is Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. The Hopkins Raines Retired School Personnel Organization is a local chapter of the Texas Retired Teachers Association. At 2:18 p.m. October 3rd, you will receive a wireless emergency alert on your mobile device if it is connected to wireless providers that provide the wireless emergency alert system. The alerts are free and the customer is not charged to receive the wireless emergency alert. One does not have to sign up to receive the WEA. On October 3rd, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, and the Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, will conduct a nationwide test of the emergency alert system. The test will be transmitted in English and Spanish, including both audio and text messages. The EAS test should appear similar to the nationwide test in recent years on radio and television. FEMA will also send a test wireless emergency alert message to all mobile phones that are connected to wireless providers that participate in the WEA system. The FCC requires all wireless carriers that do not participate in the WEA to notify their customers. Customers may also notify their carrier to determine the extent to which the carrier is offering the emergency wireless alerts. One may block all wireless emergency alerts. However, Congress passed the WARN Act. They allow participating carriers to offer subscribers that capability to block all WEAs except those issued by the President of the United States.
There is a new family practice doctor at Christus Mother Francis Clinic. Her name is Crystal Rowe, and we met her on the Good Morning Show, along with Will Nouse, who is public relations for Christus Mother Francis.
I'm from a small town called Bay City, Texas, a couple hours south of Houston. Grew up there, went to UT Dallas to get my degree, and then went on to Texas Tech El Paso to go to medical school. Picked up some Spanish there, so I look forward to seeing Spanish-speaking patients in my office if that is a need. And then I went to Baylor Garland to complete my family medicine residency. And here I am. My husband and I bought some land out here, and we're building, and we plan on staying forever.
Okay, so you graduated just in June of 2018.
That's right.
Okay, congratulations on all your hard work.
Well, thank you. It's been a long road.
And I'm so pleased that you've picked Hopkins County.
We are loving it here. I can't tell you how pleased we are. Everyone's so sweet. Downtown is gorgeous, and I mean, it's just wonderful.
Well, we are glad that Sulphur Springs is attracting people who can come here and bring something that like yourself. Now, inside the clinic where you now are in practice, you are friends with Dr. Miller.
Of course.
Dr. Mark Miller, a lot of people know and love him.
Yes, he is very popular, and he has been a wonderful mentor.
So in family practice, that's where we will find you.
That's correct.
Well, tell us about flu season.
So, as you know, last year was a very severe flu season. They have tallied 80,000 deaths for last year's flu season in the U.S. alone. And that is just tremendous, and we need to do our best to prevent that from happening. The CDC recommends that everyone over the age of 6 months gets a flu shot every year. They are recommending that we try to do so by the end of October, but any time is okay as long as it's still in the flu season. People that are at the highest risks are obviously those of extreme age, the elderly and the very young, pregnant women or those wanting to become pregnant, and those with any chronic medical conditions, including lung disease, heart disease, kidney, liver disease, diabetes even, and of course any kind of immune deficiency.
Usually in flu season, as it approaches, we hear about various strains.
Correct. So what the CDC does is they try to make an educated prediction on what strains will be the most available, I guess, to the public that year, and enough time to make the vaccine available. This year, the shot includes 4 strains. I won't bore you with the details of the strains. Know that one of the strains is the H1N1 strain, which is covers for the swine flu. And then the other strains are different strains of flu A and flu B that they're predicting are going to be the most prevalent this year.
Well, without going into too much technicality that maybe we don't grasp, how do they know? I mean, flu doesn't announce itself.
That's right.
Pre-season.
That's right. And I'm not a virologist, so bear with me. But viruses basically adapt and change every minute, every second, every time that they encounter a new host, if you will. And so they are just trying to predict what adaptations these viruses are making so that they're ready. And they sometimes make a wonderful, educated guess and sometimes not. But even if it's a 50% chance that you are going to be covered by the flu shot, that 50% is better than 0%.
True. What about as the season gets going and another strain develops from what you may have been vaccinated for?
And unfortunately, you are uncovered for that. The CDC cannot go back and make new vaccines that quickly, and that's part of the issue. And probably by the time they made a vaccine for that strain, there would be another strain coming out. And so they're just making an educated guess. But even last year, I think we were around 50% coverage. Some sites said 30%. But as I said, 30% chance that you don't get the flu is much better than 0 when you're talking the possibility of even going to the ICU or passing away.
So that the fact that you gave about 80,000 deaths in the U.S. alone during flu season last year is really, rather daunting.
It's astounding. I myself got the flu, and I did have the flu shot. But if you are seeing people every day that have the flu, there's just no avoiding it. But that does not mean that the flu shot gives you the flu. In fact, quite the opposite.
Sometimes people do still say that.
Yes, that is an unfortunate misconception, and one I would love to tell you guys otherwise. So the flu vaccine can sometimes make you feel a little bit yucky, can give you some fatigue, can give you some arm tenderness, but that's actually a good sign. That shows us that your body is making the appropriate immune response to that vaccine so that when you go to the grocery store and grab that cart that's covered in the flu vaccine, that you will be covered that year. So it's okay to have 48 hours of just kind of not feeling good, a low-grade fever, some arm tenderness. That shows us that your immune system is reacting to the vaccine as it's supposed to. And I always recommend just some Tylenol, Motrin, rest, that kind of thing.
Good. Well, these things are good to know. We've had just our coolest morning so far. This morning, I think it was about 58 degrees.
Yes.
Love
When
it.
we started out. Yeah, it feels nice. And so there's flu season ahead, but let's don't focus on that. Let us now talk about a few of the other things that you will be seeing patients for.
Sure. So I enjoy seeing all ages, all walks of life. Excuse me. Being a family practice doctor, I'm happy to see the youngest and to the absolute oldest. I find that every patient has something to teach me along the way and some wisdom to impart. And I enjoy visiting, getting to know people and their lives. And I do enjoy taking care of mental health specifically. I also like to take care of weight loss. But of course, I do always take care of high blood pressure, diabetes, anything that comes up. I just pride myself on enjoying those particular topics.
Okay, and that is why you pursued family practice.
Absolutely.
Gives you a wide range of things that you can help people with.
Yes, ma'am. An unending range.
One of the things that's kind of interesting about family practice or primary care, as someone who is not a medical provider, is family care or family practice is really about, like she said, that relationship. And all the statistics show and repeated studies show that the better your relationship is, the more communication, regular checkups, basically staying on top of your day-to-day health, the better your outcomes are long-term for everything, like she said, from your diabetes or heart disease, which are huge problems in Northeast Texas, to avoiding major problems further down the line. And it really is about staying on top of your health on a day-to-day basis, and primary care is the way to do that. There is not another specialist or physician or in the hospital that has that same relationship with their patients from any age all the way on. You go and see a cardiologist if you have a heart problem, or an orthopedic doctor if you have a knee problem, but your primary care is going to be there knowing you, learning you and your health, and working with you to manage those things from a very, from an early, from a pediatrician, through to the end. But that relationship is so key, and we're learning more and more about it all the time, just from the wealth of data that comes in, how important it is for managing your health and managing the health of a population of a city or an area, or how better to understand how people live.
And this is really just down to individuals and people. It brings the focus right there to
That's
each
exactly
one of
right.
us.
It's about spending that time, talking with your patients, knowing them, knowing what they like and don't like, and just building a rapport that will last for a long time. You trust your provider, you trust your doctor, you're going to be healthier.
We think that sounds fundamental, but even in sports, the fundamentals are what we always need to go back to and remember, because that's our foundation. So a family practice doctor or primary care doctor, as you were describing there, can kind of guide your preventive approach to good health.
That's correct.
I'm sorry. That's one of the things I say. It's health care, not sick care, right?
Okay.
So it's about making sure that you stay healthy, that you are managing, chronic diseases or in front of things, as opposed to trying to fix them later.
And avoiding chronic disease. So many people, I think, go to a doctor for some other cause and discover that they are diabetic.
Absolutely. Not an uncommon finding. Yes.
Or discover there's something wrong with the heart.
Yes. And we're happy to be right there, holding their hand and walking them through. And in some cases, we can manage the disease in such a way that sometimes we can reverse it if we're very lucky. But that again takes that good relationship between the doctor and the patient, full understanding, full disclosure, good explanations, and just complete trust, I would say, on both sides, really.
Across the board of our hospital, Will, how many family practice doctors do we have?
Oh man,
let's see. I can name them. They've all been wonderful to me, and I've really enjoyed meeting them all. At our clinic, at Christus Trinity Clinic in Sulphur Springs, we have Dr. Jim Goldie, Dr. I.L. Balcom, Dr. Kurt Cottrell, Dr. Bridget Coker, myself, Dr. Mark Miller. Am I missing anybody? And then, of course, we have wonderful advanced practice associates, nurse practitioner Megan Bray, nurse practitioner Jordan Potts. We have nurse practitioner Angela Doty. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. And then we have PA Greg Barrett, and all of them have just been fantastic.
And we have another new nurse practitioner in a newish type of clinic we were just talking about.
Yes. We just opened the orthopedics clinic here in Sulphur Springs. Maybe I'm terrible with time. That's all over the place, but it's maybe in the last month, I think. Okay. It just opened up with Dr. Graves, and Jennifer Flowers is a new nurse practitioner there. Dr. Graves and that team are really outstanding and have done a great job in this community for some time, and has created a kind of a great problem, which is more people want to see him and get some help from that clinic, and he is more than willing to help out along those lines, but we just outgrew it. Too many people trying to get that health care, and so with the new clinic and with the new provider, Ms. Flowers, then we're able to see more patients and get them the care that they need, their imaging, their treatment plan, their rehab, whatever it may be. The access, as we kind of discussed before, access is the name of the game with healthcare, and same with primary care, being able to see your doctors and get in there when you need to. And with orthopedic care, I mean, that's your ability to walk and live your life and use your arms and play with your kids and stuff, and it's very important to be able to get in and see a provider when you need one, and that was what we were aiming to do here, is make it easier and better for people to get on site.
So selecting the right kind of doctors for our locale here in Sulphur Springs, Hopkins County, and Crystal Rowe is one of those, our newest.
Yes, ma'am. We're happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in this morning. Also, thank you, Will, for telling us about Christus Mother Frances Hospital.
Certainly.
And will you please come back again? And
100%.
There's more doctors we would like to meet.
100%.
Okay. And did you get your flu shot?
I did. I got my flu shot yesterday.
Good going. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
It is always a big deal when Wildcats and Lady Cats athletes are added to the Wildcat Hall of Honor, and 5 new inductees will be added to the hall next Friday. They are Jack Sickles, a football player from the class of 1933, John Holloway in track and field from the class of 1991, Mark Sevier, a football player from the class of 1992, J. Paul Gordon, a football player from the class of 1995, and Melissa McSheffrey Kanizovic, a softball player from the class of 2004. A reception and induction ceremony will be taking place next Friday at 5:15 p.m. in the multipurpose building. The new Hall of Honor members will be introduced on the field at Gerald Prim Stadium shortly before the kickoff of the Wildcats game against Forney next Friday. The Wildcats have a bye on this Friday game day. After having their last 2 cross-country meets canceled due to the weather, the Wildcats and Lady Cats got to participate in a cross-country meet at Lynn Creek Park in Arlington on Thursday, and we learned more from cross-country coach Ross Hicks.
We finally got to run after a 2-week rain delay. It seemed like we went to Arlington and we got a run in. They had to change the course a little bit because it's our regional site. That's why we wanted to go there and really get comfortable with the course, learn the course. And the day before, they let us know that they're going to have to alter it a little bit because of high water. And we got there and there was looked like a new pond that wasn't there before, and right where we were supposed to be running. So it was a change that needed to be made. But they altered it, and we were still able to run. It was muddy. We had a kid lose a shoe, but they're just running through the mud, and it was a good experience.
All right, tell us the results.
Right. So the girls they had a great race. They were again led by Sydney Washburn, who had a personal best time, and she really finished strong. Next was another senior, their senior Bailey Arrington. She's been fighting through some things, and so she's finally getting back to that shape. And she's been in one of our top 2 runners for the past 2 or 3 years, and so that consistency is great for our team. And then we had a little bit of a shakeup. Mari Flecker, she's a sophomore. She's really coming on strong. She actually finished 3rd for the team. But right behind her was another sophomore, Landry McKinney, and so they both ran really well. And I was really proud of the effort that all of them gave. And then 5th was another little shakeup was a freshman, Jessica Yanez. Okay. So we have a lot of competition, which is good. A lot of girls running really close together, and that's motivating them. Then we had Ashley Noe and Caitlin Farrell, who aren't, but a few seconds behind them. So, our top 5 are the ones who score, but our 6 and 7 runners are also important because, to put gaps on the other teams who we need to beat. It was a huge field. There were 298 actually girls in this race, and we finished in the 26th out of about. Well, there was actually 38 full teams, and then there was some teams that weren't quite full. Almost 50 teams represented in the race.
Okay, and the guys' side?
On the guys' side, we actually made the decision to run in the elite race, and it was just one of those things where it was just trying to figure out where to best put them, and so they ended up finished 6th of 13 teams, which I was very pleased with because there's 5 and 6A teams, and their coaches consider them elite teams in the state of Texas. So we finished 6th, 5th out of the 5A teams, and 4 of those teams are in our region, so 5th out of the teams in our region. So we got a good look at who our competition will be in regionals. They were again led by Landon Thornton. He was 8th overall with another season best. Looked very strong. Very, very pleased with the way that he ran. Then we had a junior, Christian Palomino, who's getting faster and faster again. He always tends to peak at the right time. And then another senior, Eli Sellers, and Eli and Christian go back and forth quite a bit. They run together a lot, and they compete against each other in a good way. And Christian got his number this time, but you never know. And I love that competition. I love the way that they push each other. Little ways, not too far behind them was junior Nabian Ramirez. And then we had a sophomore, Jose Mejia, right there as well to finish out our top 5. Now Andrew Escobar, a senior, he's been having had a few hiccups, but he's really coming on strong. He was right behind right behind Jose, and so he has really closed some gaps. And he's a senior, and we kind of count on him to step it up. And so, but Jose's doing great as a freshman, and he's doing great things, and he's going to be a huge part of our future. And then finally, we had Rhett Reed as our 7th runner, and he had a great race as well.
All right. What's the approach now? You've got on October the 8th, that'll be the district meet. You've got quite a bit of time in between, so how you approach this?
Right, so there's a bit of a gap, and we knew that going in. With cross country, you don't have to race every week. We'll have a 9-day training cycle, and that will prepare us. I'm actually glad that we have this gap because we have it'll be a good solid week of training next week, so we can really be prepared physically and mentally for that district meet, because it seems like it just gets here so fast, especially when we had 2 meets canceled. It just seems like it got here in no time. So I'm excited about where we are. Both our boys and girls really worked hard this week and really improved a bunch, and I think that improvement is going to keep going, because I didn't mention, but we ate the night before, and I think we had a little bit of stomach issues, and so even myself included. So we all ran though, and we all got after it, and so I think there's a lot more left in the tank for both teams. So it's very encouraging.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.